everyone, welcome back to Learn and Talk English. Our goal in this channel is to help you and spread free education. Now, I know firsthand that mastering a new language can feel like you're navigating a maze. But just like learning any new skill, it all comes down to practice, persistence, and a genuine passion for the craft. And trust me, the rewards are immense. Being able to connect with people and express yourself fluently in another language is incredibly empowering. So, whether you're dreaming of working abroad or simply want to chat with locals on your next holiday, stick around and let's unlock the secrets to sounding like a natural. Please like to encourage us for more content. First things first, let's talk pronunciation. You can have the most impressive vocabulary, but if your pronunciation isn't clear, it's like trying to read a book with missing letters. Think of each sound as a building block. Just like a house needs strong foundations, clear communication relies on accurate pronunciation. Start by tuning into how native speakers form their sounds. Websites like BBC Learning English are fantastic for this. They break down each sound, showing you exactly how your mouth should move. Don't be shy about practicing in front of a mirror. Pay close attention to your lip movements, where your tongue touches, and how your jaw moves. Record yourself speaking. It's amazing what you can pick up on when you hear yourself from a different perspective. Remember, practice makes perfect, or at least progress. So, keep practicing those sounds, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you start to see a difference. Now here's the real magic ingredient for sounding like a native: surrounding yourself with native speakers. It's like learning to swim. You can read all the books and watch all the videos you want, but nothing beats actually getting in the water. If you're living or studying in an English-speaking country, take full advantage of every opportunity to practice. Chat with your classmates, order your coffee in English, ask for directions. Every little interaction helps. But don't worry if you're not living in an English-speaking country. We live in a digital age, and connecting with native speakers online has never been easier. Join language exchange groups, find a conversation partner, or immerse yourself in online communities where English is the main language. The beauty of interacting with native speakers is that you pick up on so much more than just words. Remember, every mistake is a step closer to fluency. And don't forget to listen to good channels like this one. Now, let's talk about the power of listening. And I don't just mean passive listening. I'm talking about active, engaged, intentional listening. Think of it as training your ears to truly understand the music of the English language. Listen to how native speakers stress certain words, how their intonation rises and falls, how they use pauses for effect. Podcasts are an absolute goldmine for this. Find podcasts on topics you're interested in and just listen. TV shows and movies are also fantastic tools. Put on the subtitles if you need to, but really focus on the sounds, the rhythm, and the intonation. You'll start to notice patterns, and your brain will begin to internalize them. And don't forget about music. Listen to the lyrics, sing along, and let the rhythm and melody help you internalize new words and phrases. The more you immerse yourself in the sounds of English, the more natural it will start to feel. Study mouth movements. Pay close attention to the mouth movements of native speakers. It might seem strange at first, but our mouths are capable of making the most subtle movements to produce different sounds. Think of it like learning a magic trick. The more you study the magician's hands, the more you start to understand how the illusion works. The same goes for pronunciation. By observing how native speakers use their lips, tongue, and teeth, you can start to replicate those sounds more accurately. YouTube is your best friend for this. Search for phonetics videos or English pronunciation tutorials. These videos often show close-ups of the mouth, so you can really see how each sound is formed. Once you've watched a few times, try mimicking those movements in front of a mirror. It might feel silly, but remember, you're training your muscles to work in new ways. Over time, you'll be able to make those adjustments without even thinking about it. Understand different accents. There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to English accents. Just like there are different dialects and accents in your native language, English is spoken with a kaleidoscope of variations around the world. Someone from Texas will sound quite different from someone from New York, right? And that's just within the United States. The key is to be aware of these differences and to focus on the accent that's most relevant to you. If you're planning to work in the United States, for example, it might be helpful to focus on developing a more neutral American accent. But don't get too caught up in trying to erase your own accent completely. Your accent is part of your identity. The goal is to develop clear, confident pronunciation that allows you to communicate effectively in any situation. Mimic, don't mock. Let's talk about the power of imitation. Find a native English speaker whose voice you admire. It could be an actor, a public speaker, a podcast host, or even a character from your favorite TV show. Listen closely to their speech patterns, their rhythm, their intonation. Now here's the key. Don't just listen passively, actively try to imitate them. Record yourself speaking, then listen back and compare your pronunciation and intonation to theirs. Notice the subtle ways they use their voice to convey emotion, emphasis, and meaning. Think of it like an actor preparing for a role. You're developing your own authentic voice in English. Remember, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so don't be afraid to borrow from the best. Watch your pace and use contractions. Speaking too slowly or pausing in unnatural places can sometimes make it more obvious that you're not a native speaker. Native speakers tend to have a natural flow to their speech, connecting words and phrases smoothly. They also use contractions liberally in everyday conversation. Contractions are those shortened forms of words like I'm instead of I am, don't instead of do not, and can't instead of cannot. Try to find a comfortable pace that feels natural and allows your ideas to flow smoothly. Listen to how native speakers use pauses for effect, usually at the end of a sentence or to emphasize a particular point. And don't be afraid to sprinkle those contractions into your speech. It will make your English sound more relaxed, more natural, and more authentic. Now, if you really want to take your English to the next level and sound like a true native, it's time to add a dash of color to your vocabulary with slang and idioms. These are the expressions that add personality, humor, and cultural relevance to the language. Think of slang and idioms as the spices in a recipe. They add flavor, depth, and a touch of something special. But just like spices, it's important to use them sparingly and in the right context. Start by picking up a few common slang words and phrases that you hear frequently in movies, TV shows, or conversations with native speakers. Idioms can be a bit trickier because their meaning is not always literal. The best way to learn idioms is to immerse yourself in the language and pay attention to how native speakers use them in context. Don't be afraid to ask what an idiom means if you're unsure. Most native speakers are happy to explain. Here's the truth, my friends. There's no magic shortcut to sounding like a native English speaker. It all comes down to one simple but essential ingredient: practice. Just like any skill worth mastering, whether it's playing an instrument or mastering a sport, consistent practice is the key to fluency. But here's the good news. Practice doesn't have to be boring or tedious. In fact, it can be incredibly fun and rewarding. The key is to find ways to make English a part of your daily life. Talk to yourself in English, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. Narrate your thoughts, describe what you're doing, have imaginary conversations. Read aloud in English, whether it's a book, a magazine article, or even just the back of a cereal box. Pay attention to your pronunciation, your intonation, and your pace. And don't forget about the power of repetition. Find a few tongue twisters that you find challenging and practice them regularly. Here's the thing about learning any new skill, especially a language. It's okay to ask for help. Seeking guidance from others is a sign of strength, not weakness. Even the most talented athletes, musicians, and artists have coaches, mentors, and teachers who help them refine their craft. So if you're serious about improving your English and sounding more like a native speaker, don't be afraid to reach out for support. There are so many incredible resources available to help you on your journey. Consider enrolling in a language school or finding a qualified English tutor who can provide personalized feedback and guidance. Join a conversation group or find a language exchange partner who can help you practice speaking in a relaxed and supportive environment. And don't underestimate the value of your friends and family members who already speak English. Remember, learning a language is a journey, not a race. So, there you have it. 10 powerful strategies to help you unlock the secrets to sounding like a native English speaker. Remember, it's not about erasing your accent or trying to be someone you're not. It's about gaining the confidence and fluency to express yourself authentically and connect with others on a deeper level. If you found these tips helpful, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your fellow language learners, and hit that subscribe button for more tips and tricks on mastering the art of English. Thanks for joining me on this adventure, and remember, keep practicing, stay curious, and never stop speaking. Until next time, happy learning. We would love to hear your preferences or topics you'd like us to discuss. Please comment below, like, subscribe, and stay tuned.